बोलेंगे बोले। পরীক্ষা এখনো হলো নি ক্লাস কিচ্ছু ছিল না শেষ হয়ে গেল কিচ্ছু হলো না ওই তো লোকটা একটা লোক বেরিয়েছে হ্যাঁ মুকুল দাস লিখো
Good morning.
कर ले बात वीडियो कॉल
हेलो हेलो कौन ले लो क्या करोगे?
बहुत बात कॉल अच्छे तरह से करो ढंग से बात करना
Sugato, can you hear me? Sugato, can you hear me?
Sir, I can hear you. Hello, Colin sir.
Okay.
I can hear you, sir. We can start. Our PBC sir has joined, I think. Ujjwal, hello, 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 Ujjwal. Hello, Ujjwal. Hello. Hello.
Dr. Sarkar, I think you can begin.
Yeah.
Thank
Hello, Amitji.
Yes.
You just check whether Patnaik sir has joined.
Yes,
I am unable to see.
Yeah,
Sir
he
has
is.
joined, na?
Yes, he is here.
Okay. Then let me start. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I heartily welcome all of you on our national workshop on athletics, which is scheduled to be held from today and tomorrow. So let's start with the welcome address by our organizing convener, Dr. Amit Kumar Trivedi, Assistant Professor, Department of Geology, Mizoram University. Over to Dr. Trivedi.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sarkar. So before I begin, I will request all the participants to please mute your microphone, and except those who are going to address here, I also request the other participants to switch off their camera so that we can save the bandwidth. So it is my request, humble request. So other than those who are going to talk today, I request other participants to please switch off their camera so that we can save the bandwidth. Okay, so good afternoon and welcome you all in the 2 days national workshop on athletics organized by Sports Department, Mizoram University. So on behalf of the organizing committee of this workshop and on my own behalf, I welcome you all at this occasion. Mizoram University is not only the leading university in the Northeast, but also in the whole India. As we can see since the construction of this NIRF, we have always been in the top 100. And it's because of the able leadership which we have time to time. And at this occasion, I would like to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Kiara Rao, who has also joined us. Welcome you, sir, on this occasion. Professor Kiara Rao has been a great motivator and a dynamic leader, even in the condition of this pandemic. Under his wise leadership, we have been conducting several programs online, workshop, training programs, webinar, seminar, conferences, so on and so forth. And today's program is in that series. So thank you, sir, for motivating all of us to be conducting these types of program. At this occasion, I would also like to welcome Professor Jagdish Patnaik, who is the Pro Vice Chancellor of this Mizoram University. He is also a great dynamic leader and a great helper. Whenever you have a problem, you approach him, he will always help you. So thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation to grace this occasion. I take this opportunity to welcome all the resource persons who have spared their valuable timing and accepted our invitation to in the 2 days time to share their knowledge with all the participants. Particularly, I will be naming Dr. Kolan Chaudhary, who is the National Coach in Chair Academics and Athletics, Sports Authority of India, Sri Sanjay Ghosh, Level 1 Technical Officer and Technical Delegates of Athletics Federation of India, Professor Sanjeev Mirdha, Head of Department, Department of Physical Education, Jadavpur University, Professor Asim Kumar Bose, former Principal, Postgraduate Institute for Physical Education, Banipur, West Bengal. I also take this opportunity to welcome all our participants. As the coordinator circulated the list, we have approximately 350 participants. So I'm hoping slowly our participants will join it, and they will be highly benefited from the various talks delivered, which is going to be delivered by the resource persons. So once again, welcome you all in this inaugural program of 2 days national workshop on athletics. Okay, so I believe our Vice Chancellor sir is with us. I can see him. Sir, are you there? Okay, there may be some connection issue with him. So meanwhile, I request Professor Jagdish Patnaik, Pro Vice Chancellor, Mizoram University, to share some of his views with all of us. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Amit. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor K.R. Sambasiva Rao garu, Dr. Sogat Sarkar, Assistant Director, Sports Department, Mizoram University, Dr. Kalyan Chaudhary, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and other honorable resource persons who have been there in the inaugural function and who will be also joining later in the due course, and other participants. First of all, let me congratulate all of you, and especially Dr. Sogat Sarkar, for having organized this 2-day workshop on athletics. It is really a privilege for me to address all the participants as well as the dignitaries or resource persons who would be speaking.
Sir, your mic is got muted.
Yes. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So I feel it an honor to address to this on this occasion to the various participants as well as the honorable resource persons who would be delivering their talks in this 2-day workshop on athletics. I should tell this much as our, in the introductory remark, Dr. Amit Trivedi has informed that Mizoram University has been doing wonderful in terms of our rankings in the NRF as well as other ranking organizations. One thing that is more important is that being an academic institution, we give so much of importance to academics, to research, to teaching, that one may feel that we are not paying attention to the physical dimension of human beings, because that is wrong notion, wrong impression if somebody is having that. Reason is, our university has been doing wonderful in terms of academics as well as athletics. Our Assistant Director, Dr. Sogat Sarkar, will definitely explain the laurels that Mizoram University has got in different fields of athletics as well as sports. And everyone knows that Mizoram University and the people of Mizoram are fond of sports and athletics. And for that reason, Mizoram University has been, beneficial in making an impact at the national level. We have been, always in the limelight when it comes to athletics or sports. Not only that, academically we are among the top 100. Also, in the field of athletics, in the field of sports, we have been doing wonderful. We have been, been doing so wonderful that the last couple of years in the Khelo India program also, our participants had done wonderful performances. Actually, when we talk about athletics, one may feel that this academic dimension of human being and the physical dimension of they are two different things. In fact, it is not, because when we talk about the mental activity, unless there is a physical activity, the mental activity, we cannot go in synchronization. Then there is need to have synchronization, need to have coordination between mind and the body. And to develop the body, we need to have athletics, we need to have sports, need to have physical activity. And from that point of view, the sports department in Mizoram University is doing a very good job. But let me tell you again, very interesting thing, how we cannot separate both of them. Since ancient times, if we talk about the ancient Greek civilization or Indian civilization or any other civilization, we find that there was a greater importance given to physical activity, particularly sports and athletics. Here I want to bring in some of my, whatever little knowledge that I have with regard to history. Although I am a student of political science, let me talk a little bit about history. That in the 405 BC, in the ancient Greek society, city-states, there was a war. The war was a Peloponnesian War. All of you might be aware of the fact that the Athenians were, very smart people, very intelligent people, and intellectual type. And the Spartans were fit, sturdy, and, very athletic oriented. And in the Peloponnesian War, despite the ingenuity of the Athenians, they lost the war because of the superior physical ability of the Spartans. Of course, subsequently, they regained their glory. But the fact that I want to underscore is that, since the ages, and that Peloponnesian War, actually, I'll tell you, actually helped the ancient thinker, philosopher like Plato or Aristotle, to give importance to physical activity. In Plato's scheme of education, he has clearly delineated the need to give importance to physical activity. That is, I am talking about the Greek civilization. Let me talk about the Indian civilization. In the Indian civilization also, we were giving equal importance to physical activity. If you know about whether it is yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Patanjali, or even the other yogic rishis, they have been giving importance to the body, because the body is important where the mind sits. So to develop the mind, the body has to be developed. Now, in the case of Mizoram, now in the present society, in the present situation, Mizoram is obviously a very good sports-loving state, and Mizoram University is definitely doing well in terms of sports. But the workshops of this kind are important to discuss and to highlight, and also let and to disseminate the knowledge about the need to have athletics as an important dimension of our academic activity. In Mizoram, there are many other dimensions, negative dimensions like drug abuse or alcoholism, and young people are victims of such abuses. That to keep away from that, young people should be engaged in more of physical activity, more of athletics, more of sports activity, and that will make them, much more, active, and that will keep them away from, such kind of, negative aspects of the society. Because everybody knows that despite so much of development in the state, we have got the issue of this alcoholism and drug abuse. It doesn't mean that I would say it is a very big issue, but just in passing, I am trying to highlight the need to have emphasis on athletics, and that would actually divert the minds, young minds, and will make them active and also remain focused on their academics. Our university is doing definitely good in academics. There is no doubt about it. But a very few percentage of people are also, are victims of such kind of, negative things. And to keep them away from that, it's very important and it's timely that the sports department is organizing this athletic workshop. I would also like to tell another important thing is, by organizing such kind of workshop, we are not only helping the state of Mizoram, but also the society at large. And through this webinar, which is a new normal, and we are able to reach to people across the country, that is also an important dimension. And webinars of such kind is also quite helpful in connecting with people and also discussing about the need to have importance on athletics. I'm sure many people from the athletics background are participating now. At the moment, now we have 97 people participating in this workshop, and many more people will be participating in this workshop. And I am very happy that Dr. Sogat is being able to connect with such a good number of participants and to sensitize the need to discuss about athletics. Of course, it is his department, athletics department is his job, but at the same time, when he does this kind of workshop, it would definitely enlighten people like us who are not so much inclined towards athletics. But having said that, let me tell you, I always give importance to physical activity. And I also, let me confess before you, that I also do yoga, asana, everything to keep myself fit. Because unless I keep myself fit, I cannot, do my academic activity or mental activity. So what I would like to, urge upon all the participants, whether belonging to the athletic discipline or otherwise, that you should never give up your exercises, your athletics, and whatever the sports that you are engaged in as an important aspect of your life, because it has to be there to keep you fit. Without this, you cannot remain fit. So I would say that do exercise, get into athletics. If you're a young boy or girl, bring Lawrence to Mizoram University, bring Lawrence to the nation, and also stay fit. And to those people who are a little bit older, I ask them to do your exercises and stay fit. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all of you. And I wish this 2-day workshop will definitely, bring out many new dimensions to the discipline of athletics and sports. Thank you very much. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating words. Now, I take this opportunity to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor K.R.S. Sambatwa Rao. I request him to address the gathering. Sir.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Respected Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Mizoram University Patnaik sir, and all the respected invited speakers, and the organizing secretary Amit Trivedi and Sogat Sarkar. Actually, I've been a little busy. I just started sitting here because of some function in my home. And meanwhile, I was called by them, and I just joined here. I could not spend much time because of that function going at home. So it was a wonderful workshop on sports being organized by our physical assistant physical director Sogat Sarkar. along with the help of Sai, Kolkata, and other people. And it was a wonderful, and more than 90 participants are participating in this workshop. It is a wonderful uh, uh, activity by Sarkar and other people. And as rightly pointed out by our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, it will be a wonderful, timely event because Mizoram is a sports loving state. We are planning to have BPEd course also very soon from the next academic year. And because this is a state which has required a training of physical directors. That is, the Mizoram is not having BPEd course, and people are going to different places to study BPEd course. And this is one of the reason that the trained sports physical directors are not available in Mizoram. That's what we are thinking of since a few months. I was discussing with Sarkar and other people to start BPEd course from the next academic year. And because Mizoram is a naturally talented people, actually they are very physically fit, and people are loving sports, particularly like hockey, football, and athletics, and all these. There were and kung fu, karate. Every one individual of 10 people will be trained in some or other sports. It is a wonderful sports loving state, actually, though it is a very small state. So this we have even proposed to have establishment of sports activity in our university. We have proposed for Center for Excellence in Sports to Government of India, and it was under consideration, shortlisted, and it may be uh, hopeful that that is going to be considered and sanctioned to us, in which we have already proposed for hockey stadium and also swimming pool and athletic track, and all these we have proposed in that particular proposal. So if it is going to be sanctioned, our university already had a football stadium, and all these things will be. We are going to have a center for excellence for training of the young people from different places, and sports hostel also we have proposed. That we are planning the authorities from Sports Authority of India, from Calcutta and other places. You kindly consider to help us in whatever way it is possible, because we are trying to do our best, whatever it is possible for the good cause of the people, for improvement of sports in our university. And I request all of you on this occasion to help us whatever it is possible, and help in developing sports activity in our Mizoram University in future. And we will be very much thankful to all of you for joining in this workshop. And kindly, I will be joining in the afternoon after some time, and I will not be now present because I have a function to attend now. So, but today and tomorrow, whenever I get time, I will be joining, and I will be listening to the lectures, and I will be participating in the workshop. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to say a few words on this occasion.
Thank you, sir. We all were aware that you had a very busy schedule at your home, but still you squeezed some time for to address this gathering. So thank you, sir, and also sharing the future plans of our university with the August gathering. So now I request Dr. Saugat Sarkar to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Amit Kumar Trivedi. On behalf of organizing committee of this national workshop on athletics, first of all, my sincere thanks to our respected and honorable Vice Chancellor, Mizoram University, Professor K.R.S. Sambasibba Rao, sir, who always guide us to have some creative and productive programs. It is your inspiration only, sir, that we are able to do something for our community, for our university, to contribute to our nation, sir. You have spent your busiest time to grace the program. Today, we had this opportunity to hear your thoughts, your future vision, and how you have related those things with your life to relate with our life, and this is the definitely encouraging to us. And definitely the special mention also to our Pro Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor J.K. Patnaik Sir, being the catalyst, the inspired us to do our best and stand as a pillar of power. How you have focused on the very nicely you have related that ancient history of physical education and sports and emphasized the importance of physical activity in daily life. With a deep sense of appreciation, we thank our respected speakers, Professor Dr. Kallan Chaudhary, Sri Sanjay Ghosh, Professor Oshim Kumar Bose, Professor Sanjeev Mirdha. I also thank the people who worked behind the scene to execute this event, our technical arrangement team and the stage setting man of athletics, Mr. Ujjal Das Chaudhary from West Bengal. Last not least, I thank the invitee present here and our participant. And I would like to mention, I am very delighted to announce here that as we have named it as the national, but some of our participant has joined from Bangladesh, so it has turned. It can be said that international workshop also. So I am thankful to all of you. Thank you, thank you. Now, as we are running behind the time, so without wasting the time, I would like to introduce our today's first speaker, Dr. Kallan Chaudhary. As we know, no pain, no gain, and no one knows more than the champions. And champions doesn't become only by chance or an overnight journey. A lot of effort is needed to produce a successful athlete. To promote athletics, the sound knowledge of coaching and officiating is very important. So the design of this workshop, when I planned it in such a way that we can have some knowledge of this to both, means this officiating as well as in coaching, to produce the good athlete to the country. So let me invite, he is none other than the chief coach of India in athletics, which is recently on 3rd December announced by the Government of India, Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs. So he is with us. I am very delighted to invite you, sir. Dr. Kallan Chaudhary, he is having the PhD in Sports Science, Master of Sports Coaching, NIS Diploma. He was the topper and first class first. He is the scientist in biomechanics and athletics. He is the high performance manager of SAI National Sector of Khelo India Talent. He is now the in charge of academics and athletics of SAI Kolkata Regional Center. He is the member of prestigious Academic Council of SAI Krida Guru. He was the chief athletic coach of West Bengal and national coach of senior and junior camp. He represented India in junior Asian track and field championship. He produced more than 11 international and many national medalists in senior and junior section. He has delivered more than 12 speeches in different national workshops, etc. He has having more than 10 national and international publication, and he also evaluated 3-4 PhD theses, 1 delete thesis, and he is having the 31 years of his experience in teaching and coaching in SAI. So now I fully proud to over the mic to Kallan sir to start your class, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your elaborate introduction about me. I am basically a small person involved in coaching and attached with the Sports Authority of India. That is the ultimate identification I feel. At the outset, I like to congratulate the whole Mizoram University, especially the sports department, been led by the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor KRS Shamsiba Rao, and Pro Vice Chancellor, Honorable Jagdish Patnaik, and Dr. Amit Trivedi, and also others along with Dr. Shougata Sharkars. I also invite for this program all the participants for their sparing a valuable time and remain with us, and also the various resource persons today will be delivering, and tomorrow also will be delivering their special views. So at the without much ending of time, I like to request to allow me to screen share. I think. Richard, will you share my screen? Actually, I was talking about what to speak with Dr. Shogato. He was telling that Mizoram is one of the area where the athletics is mainly with the long and middle distance running. So it will be better to speak on middle distance or long distance running, and special case if it is a long distance also. Will you please share my screen? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Will you share my screen, Mr. Ujjal? Is it possible from your end? Sir, are you doing? Actually, let me continue the same. Then it was said that distance running is the only area where the people of this, especially the athletic community, is much beneficial to talk about. So I thought of selecting this topic, the concept of distance running. Here and there, we are running, and we are doing a lot of running groups these days. Not only youngsters, even the veteran people also started running on the roads and even in the grounds, and various spare of their life they spend timing in the morning, evening, whenever they get time to run, they run it. So to make it more systematic, so I thought of presenting this session with the concept of distance running, how we will organize our running in a better way by giving this. I request others not to share the screen. Only Ujjal will be handling the screen sharing, so it will be without disturbing. The next slide, please. Next slide, please. Ujjwal, can you share, or I'll try from my side?
Sir, Ujjwal is sharing. It may take little bit of time, sir.
Shall I continue with this second? Then let him
Okay.
share. So
Okay.
it was talking. No, this is long distance running is bit monotonous. People think from outer concept. You try it, Ujjwal. So long distance running be monotonous, but it is not that. A lot of enthusiasm is always been there in long distance, because you will make yourself fit. As Professor Jagadish Patnaik was telling, that mind and body has got big relations. So when your body becomes fit, it might take you a very energetic stage, because in spite of having a long or tiring day, if you just run for a while for a few kilometers, so definitely it will refresh yourself. Some of the hormones always secret in particular stage. When you get tired, you get bored of life, you just come out of home and just run. You will definitely refresh yourself. This is the scientific, there is a reason that some of the enzymes, hormones are secret from your body, and that will refresh your mind, and you will be feeling very energetic. So this is the first of all. Secondly, you all know the physical benefit by this cardiovascular system, how it has been affected by distance running, long running. So it will definitely make you very fit physically, mentally, and your all related medicated problems will go off very shortly. We normally philosophically tell that competition is one thing, but you don't pull the competition all of your time, that there is a competition, you train hard and do the competition. It is not the concept. Concept is that you try to compete in competition, and if competition result also comes something adverse, may not you win, your athlete wins, whatever may be, but it doesn't mean that you will lose the whole story of the life. It is not that. Every lose, every lost in competition, every defeat, it definitely make you a certain experience in life. That experience actually forever. Actually, that is by losing also you gain something. By something, your experience, your counteraction, how to make the next race better. So that type of construction in the mind always plays in your mind, and that will develop you, make you one step ahead in promotional sports, whatever you tell. I was talking about the hard training. It doesn't mean that you have to win. It is not the hard. It is a systematic training. Always there are some concept that you must put your sweat out every time at the highest extreme highest manner. It is not that. The thing is that you should go systematically. Some of the running, which is very slow, also develop you better. So that is the basic things in life, that no one has all the time answers in running to success, but sure that science is the way that one talented athlete and understanding coach can go together. What are the things actually? Systematic training I was talking about. What is systematic training? Systematic training means it incorporation of training elements one after another. Incorporation of training elements one after another. That should be more scientific. What science actually? It is just something when you are putting some training, and what will be the previous training? What is the next training? That link about this is this three training session. One is pre, one is post, and one is the present. So there's linking these three, and that is the most important, where the scientific approach for training is most important. And always the success built up by three things. One is systematic training. I incorporate one more, fourth thing, systematic training, where there is a grammar of training is there. Number two, a talented athlete. This is most important. Who doesn't mean that talent already shows at the early stage. In many of the distance races, talent sometimes come out in the later stage of life. So you have to go with the training And this is the second aspect, talented athlete. And the third aspect is understanding coach, a coach who can realize, who can understand. We call it is this athlete-centered training, athletes-centered training. You have to see the athlete, you have to understand the athlete, his qualities, gap analysis, all these things you have to undergo and especially analyze. God has given a beautiful coconut over your body, so that has to be utilized properly. You think you're trivial. Coaches is nothing but the common sense of your athletes. So if you apply your common sense, your knowledge, that common sense is enriched by your knowledge, then definitely success will follow you. The fourth one, I like to say that scientific support. These days, only coaching doesn't make sense unless it is being supported by other stuff, like your evaluation from the physiological and psychological aspects, your body conditioning, your physiotherapy unit, your fitness expert. Everybody should be incorporated together, and these four aspects of training, I mean, being supported, always there will be a result indeed. Next, please. So this is one, and let me continue the training focus. What is the training focus of our daily life? There is training focus in long distance running, especially that increase mileage. Which are next slide, please. Increase mileage or total distance of run or duration of training progressively. What is mileage? We call it as a mileage, and second one was the intensity. These two things I'll be using. One is mileage, means how much distance you will be running, and total distance of run per week. There is a measurement system. In modern training, we tell every training should be planned, number one. And second is, number two is, every training should be assessed. It is not that you have to measure only the performance of the competition. Every training has to be evaluated. It will training total, how much load, total speed, how much, what is the percentage of speed, how much kilometer you have done it, what is the pace you are matching with. This all thing will come together. So first of all, increasing mileage, I'll discuss later on. Second is train is regularly. For the junior section up to 16 years of old, we tell it as 6 days, once in a day is training is quite enough. It's not required. People are crazy for doing 2 double session workout in morning, evening for 6 days or 7 days. Even the Sunday morning, they are also busy. So this is not the recovery science. Recovery science says for up to the 16 years of old, that body actually develops very rationally, and that's required enough recovery. So that recovery plays important. After 16 to 19 years, then you can go for 9 session training, and at the end for the elite level, even the 10 session training is most appropriate. No need to increase more. If people say that 7 days training multiplied by 2 sessions, 14 trainings. So out of 14 trainings, if you go for the 10-day session, it will be enough for exhibiting the world level performance, even the national level, whatever level we are now. So nationally, 6 to 10 is the total number of session, and it has to be regularly. It is highly discouraged who actually comes for training once and on, and sometimes coaches puts their training, sometimes comes Monday, again comes Friday. This type of training never will give any results in the performance, whatever we are taking into. I am discussing about the performance sports only. I am not discussing about the sports as an entertainment. People are doing sometimes, which is different. Or fitness, I am not talking. It is a performance sports. Introduce the quality work daily training. So quality work means normally which is related to your performance factors. Suppose you are a middle distance runner, quality training means what actually pace for middle distance, that has to be developed. This is the quality training. And intensity discipline. Intensity discipline means the whatever pace it is being measured in training or given in training as per plan, it has to be maintained. For example, you are going for 6 kilometers at the pace of 4 minutes per kilometer. Somebody is a good quality runner. He feels that 6 kilometers with 4 minutes per kilometer is quite easy. I can go at least 3:45, and at the end, last 2 kilometers, I can go all out. But this is not the workout. The intensity discipline is the workout when every pace has been measured by coach and calculated by the coach and given the chart. So you have to follow that intensity. What is the need of this intensity? I will be covering next few lines. So what is the training focus? Actually, middle and long distance running, what are the training actually elements are being developed? First of all, developing cardiovascular system, aerobic system, we call it. How much the uses of oxygen, how much you can go, with what pace, what higher pace you can go without using much anaerobic system. So with oxygen system, your vascular system goes. Building running muscles. There are certain muscles actually, local muscular muscles locally, those leg muscles, arm muscles, shoulder muscles. These are actually has to be developed. We normally when the children comes at around 14, 12 years old, first training element is anatomical stability. They should run the way the athlete should run. That is the thing. Athletical fitness that has to be developed, and that requires certain muscular strength. Suppose you are running and you are listening some sounds, top, 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 top on the ground. What happens actually? That calf muscles is the gastrocnemius muscles is not developed. That's why they are putting their paws on the ground like tuck, 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 tuck sound. So a lot of sound is coming because they are not holding their ankle at a stiff stage. Their ankle stiffness cannot be done because muscles are under maturity level. So that is to be required, and one has to be very, very sure that they should go with such temperament so that they can. I put my this. And secondly, thirdly is increase lactate threshold. I'll be coming next few slides. Lactate threshold means lactase is a byproduct. I'll be discussing later on. That capacity you have to develop, and aerobic capacity. You're running without anaerobic system. That level you have to run. That ability you have to develop. Running speed is one of the very good element. Running speed actually requires beginning and end, because speed actually ultimate determinant to be a winner. So speed factors has to be developed very separately. And the running economy. Running economy means it is a state of relaxation you can run where your efforts are being very economic. You are running in a very distance. You are running for a big distance, but with more easy level. So that is economy. Suppose at this point I can elaborate one thing. Two runners are running parallelly together. Somebody is respirating and somebody is respirating. So that difference actually what happens in the first one case, the athlete is taking oxygens a limited way. The other one is exhausted. That shows that economy wise, that two differences. You know, oxygen always helps in aerobic system. So or energy is been released by help of your oxygen. That is the aerobic system. And more and more you are in aerobic zone, your economy of running will be always better. Next one. It's a video. I don't know whether it will run. So basic video actually. Can it be run? It shows that what are the basic need of running in long distance. First of all, you can see the road that is muddy road, long countryside, and you are following the nice oxygen outside, no pollution. That kind of things have to be built up, and where you can have your running without much exhaustion. A lot of people are observed that they are running on the roads. Can it be run, Ujjal? A lot of people are running on the roads. They've been discouraged initially, but if you say that if you have your shoes well and you are not running absolutely faster, then road running is not bad at all. Actually, first of all, you have to take your precaution about your shoe. A good running shoe or which you are running on the roads can run maximal 3 to 4 months. Actually, what happened? we are feeling that the shoe is okay by seeing the apparent look. Apparent look after washing, it is very clean and very good. It's no turning, nothing, absolutely okay. But you see, inside there is a absorbing material, yeah, gel, whatever you say, the latest technology, whatever say, that absorbs the socks when you are compacting in a hard surface. That actually loses, and we can see it from apparently that whether the shoe is good or not. So by seeing the shoe, you'll be feeling that very good, but it won't be active as you are running for a long running regularly for 3 to 4 months. So change it regularly and use your moderate speed, not faster. Then it is not a problem. So video is not running. It is the next slide, please. Now coming about the intensity of running. Intensity of running is the most important thing, stage by stage. You are blending some cloths. Suppose you are making some color threads and matching up with this. So you are making a shari or dupatta, whatever, maybe very colorful one. So there is a matching of the colors of the threads. So similarly in training, all trainings are incorporated in such a way. All types of training, all kinds of trainings are incorporated in a schedule in such a way that it is blended nicely. It is not coming the same color one after another. It is coming after third color, after second color, like that combination we have to make. Actually, training schedule makes up 3 kinds. One is called microcycle. Microcycle means a cycle, a training cycle consists of 7 to 10 days. We call it as a microcycle, and is a bigger part of microcycle. In a microcycle is just putting the training in, and there is one other concept, is adaptation of the training. Suppose you are doing endurance training of some kind, that adaptation process, that benefit of that process come through another cycle. We call it a mesocycle. Actually, mesocycle is a consist of 4 to 6 microcycles, 7 days training multiplied by repeating. When you are repeating the training for the one microcycle for 4 to 6 times, then the benefit of training actually body observes. That is called adaptation process. So adaptation through training is very important. Some coaches think that every day I'll give some changes in the training, novelty in the training. So like today I'm taking some good food, second day another good food, some other different type of goods. It is not that. Body actually has to adjust all training. Body has to adapt all training. The benefit of training always comes when you repeat the same training. Just like this one poem, if you read it regularly, definitely you will learn by heart. Similarly, a training, when you give it in a regular gaps, I mean repeating the same training with a regular gap, that definitely that benefit of training will come. So in mesocycle is that cycle where we aim for particular development and repeat in a microcycle, 7 days training. Suppose it is a weekly training for 6 weeks. So we are repeating the same training, then only we will get the benefit of it. So unless the benefit comes, you never leave it. Sometimes children, I mean, your athlete are, sir, same training ho gaya. The same training you are repeating, sir. Oh, no, it is having different meaning. You only don't give the training. You have to also give them some knowledge of training so that they will get motivated. They will read some literature. I mean, these days Mr. Google gives a lot of information. They have all smartphones. They can read all these things. They can understand. They can realize, and then get motivated, and they will come out with a more inspiration, more readiness in the ground. That is important, being a coach, to motivate, to keep the motivation level high for your athlete. These are the things has to be repeated. Coming to the slide, there are 5 intensities, 5 stages of running. We call it as intensity is the speed element in running system. That is called the intensity. Suppose slow running is one intensity. Little higher is called the moderate. Right side you can see easy running, then moderate running, then marathon pace. One is threshold pace. One is called pace of the particular race. It shows the all kind of run. If you are a 1500-meter run, it doesn't mean that only 1500-meter run and little less, little more, you'll be running throughout. It is not that. You have to train all 5 kinds of training. All 5 kinds of trainings has got your checking point. How do you check the pace and what is the distance to be given? Everything given in the slide. I'm coming one by 10. The heart rate is one of the monitoring aspects. So what is the heart rate? So every athlete should know how to check their pulse 2 times, at least one while they get up from the bed, are about to get up from the bed. They keep lying in the bed in the morning, early morning. They take their pulse rate through their radial pulse rate and they check it, how much it is coming, that day in the bed. But before the start of the day in the bed in the early morning, they must check their pulse rate. This is called the basic pulse rate, basal pulse rate also called. And this basal pulse rate is the status of your athlete. Normally comes, if you 72 for the normal athletes, it comes now somewhere 54 to 60 for the trained athlete of 3-4 years, because it has developed a special kind of heart which has got more volume of their blood ejecting capacity. So that produces number of strokes less than compared with the normal people. So their pulse rate should be 56 to 60. Every day, if he judges this basal pulse rate in the morning, he will come out with a standardized method. It sometimes fluctuates. Everybody sometimes 54 to 55 it is coming. Sometimes it comes 62. There is alarming that the recovery, the training before last evening has done, it has not been recovered that training in the morning. So this is very good indicators. Though those who are coaching must take the pulse rate in the morning so that you can assess your status of running, what level you are, whether you are in a good state of running or you are not recovered well. So that type of indication has to be referred to your coach. I said it is athlete-centric training. So athlete must give all information. The communication skill has to be developed so that athlete should be very free with your athlete. There is a difference between teacher and coach. A teacher always teach from a distance, whereas a coach teaches with him always. He's like a philosopher, he's like a father. More close relationship is very essential. So first, this heart rate is one of the training indicators also. These days, a lot of watches are available. A distance runner must have a very good stopwatch. I mean, watch that gives your pace, how much heart rate it is coming. If you can spend it, okay. Otherwise, sophisticated method, heart rate monitoring, a lot of things are available. But within 2,500 rupees also, these days, nice heart rate monitoring watches are available these days. So the easy pace is such type of case where there is a pulse rate will never come out 120 to 145. This is an example. It may differ. Actually, percentage wise, on the above it is given 60 to 70% of your maximum that comes, and it will come around 120 to 145 maybe. For the beginners, it may fluctuate little more. 3-4 years. Those are very trained, 3-4 years maturity in training, they will show 120 to 140 this kind of heart rates. And they can go for the distance 10 to 20, depends on the athlete. And the next higher percentage is called moderate running. It is little higher pace, actually develop the high intensity of long running, where you can sustain your running for a higher speed for long. Suppose in 1500 initial burn start is big, but after crossing some time they maintain a steady state running, and that steady state running when you run, if you want to go with a higher intensity, little more, then you have to go for the moderate running system continuous. That is the distance is around 10 kilometer. That can give you in split. You can give it like this: 30-minute 2 sets, or you can give 15 minutes 4 set also, but that should be a continuous manner. So it is recommended to go with the 30 minutes continuous run minimum, and it should go at least 1 hour or 10K, 12K. So it is very higher level if you go for the 10K on this. So third pace is called marathon effort. Marathon effort means it is not that continuous, like you have to run 42 kilometers or 21 kilometers half marathon. But pace is concerning. Somebody runs in 1 hour 20 minutes half marathon. So it has to be divided by 21 kilometers. You will get a pace somewhere 3:45 to 4, or somewhere 3:45 per kilometer to 4 minutes per kilometer. That pace actually develops a ability which is very close to your anaerobic threshold running. There is not anaerobic threshold, but close to that, and that will develop a next stage for the running. Actually, every running intensities has got relations with the next. If you run easy, it will get your aerobic capacity. It will develop your ventricular system, your capillarism, your mitochondrial number, and that will develop, and ultimately it will be stressed by working condition, by different level marathon running effort. And marathon running, definitely it will be a little higher than the moderate running, moderate higher intensity running. This is easy, this is moderate, little higher speed, and P is given. It is the pulse rate will go somewhere 165 to 175 when your pulse rate maximum is 200. When your maximum heart rate is 200, it will go 165 to 175 beats per minute, and it is around your 82 to 87% of your heart rate. So heart rate monitoring is very important. कहाँ पे आपका athlete stands, where your athlete actually stands, that actually gives an indicator of that, and you should always measure this one. And the fourth one is a little higher. We call it as a threshold speed, then maximum speed, then threshold speed, then marathon, then moderate running, then easy. These are the 4 stages of intensity. The amount of speed element in continuous running, that is the intensity. That here in the threshold level is very important. You why know a 5,000 meters, 1,500 meters, 10,000 in the mid zone, maximum 80% of their run, they run a moderate speed, which is higher than the, but not the maximum. So it is said anaerobic threshold is that point where actually you are transfer your aerobic system to anaerobic system. Those who doesn't know aerobic and anaerobic system, please read. I cannot go into such detail. Aerobic details is uses of oxygen by your by your circular system. That is called aerobic. When your body is unable to take oxygen because speed of running is higher, then they cannot uptake the oxygen, and that level is called threshold level. Little less than maximum actually. That 15% to 20% less than the maximum capacity of our VO2 max. That level they run actually, that we like to develop, because some person, I get an example by respiratory rate. The person who is exhausted, they have reached to the higher level of the anaerobic threshold level. But those who have not reached, but they can sustain the training for a long distance without falling into anaerobic system. Anaerobic system is a system where you are not able to utilize your oxygen intake, and that system actually runs without uses of without insufficient uses of oxygen, and that has got some negative element that produces lactic acid. Yes, lactic acid. What is lactic acid? I'm coming little after that. So anaerobic threshold is one type of run which is most important. And lastly, the pace running. Pace running, if you are a 1,500 meter runner, what is the running pace? 1,500 meter. Accordingly, little less, little more. It is the 1,500 piece. Or if you run 5,000 meters in 18 minutes, then 18 minutes is the 5,000 meter run. What is the kilometer speed? That will be a pace for you. So when you run in that particular zone and near to your race pace, we call it is a pace running, and sometimes it is called event oriented training, and that should not be very specific planners. So this is the 5 intensities. Suppose the last one. Suppose you are running 1 kilometer, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. It will give you timing 16 minutes like this. 16 minutes, state champion goes on 16 minutes or 15:45, 15 minutes 45 seconds runner. They will run in that particular pace, and that pace he has to go for the different zones. There are 2 things. One is hard training with maximum effort. Training with effort, another thing, training with intensity. These 2 things are not similar. In the first initial stage, I said every session should not be effortfully made, but as per pace. Suppose you are asked to run 300 meter at the pace of 3 kilometer. At the pace of 3 minutes per kilometer, if you ask to run 300 meter, the pace will come somewhere 54, 55 seconds per 300. So that will be easier. So Intensity means that you have to run in that particular intensity. But effort is something when you are putting more effort. For example, marathon pace. Suppose we are putting into 15 minutes race, 15 minutes into 4 repetitions. But the timing is 4 minutes per kilometer. 4 minutes per kilometer means 16 minutes per 4 kilometer run. That will be not exhaustive. That will be intensity. But when you run that particular distance, at a stage 21 kilometer at 4 minutes per kilometer, that will be running with the effort. So running with the effort, running with the intensity. These two things are different. Sometimes coaches give running with the effort. Once in a month, twice in a month, they give running with the effort with the same intensity. They give marathon effort for long distance. I mean, for 20 kilometers or 15 kilometers long. So that type of running, when you run, that is exhausting and that produces a lot of fatigue in your body. So first of all, you have to get into the intensity and what is the need of the hours. I mentioned in this slide about the intensity to run, but I have not mentioned what is the benefit of each distance of running. Each intensity of running, what is the benefit? Some people ask to run for 30 minutes, but they have been asked to run 4 minutes per kilometer and 4:30 per kilometer for the girls, for example. But they are able to run very faster. They complete the race at 4 minutes per kilometer, 3:45, and they are running here and there. So benefit of long running, easy state running goes up. I make to say in easy state of running, one particular benefit is there. If you run faster, if your foolish athlete is running faster, what they are given, supposed to run, they are thinking we are having better capacity, we run faster. But it is not the logic. Logic is that every running intensity has got some physiological benefit and one should get the benefit out of it. Then only there to be said it is a systematic training, it is the proper adaptation takes place. Next slide please. Proper adaptation takes place. The intensity zone is most important. We call it is the intensity discipline. We call it as the intensity discipline. Every coach should be very polite but very strict in their nature. But what strictness is required? Strictness about discipline, strictness about irregularity, and strictness about the intensity. You never dislike, you never like indisciplines, you never like irregularity. At the same time, intensity also one of the very, very disciplined manner you have to run. Your athlete should know. They should have a good watch like this. Some coaches, scientists uses 3 zones. You have seen 5 zones. But if it is for 1500 meter runner, 3 zones are sufficient. Easy zone, then anaerobic threshold zone, and then the running pace. So number 1, number 4, and 5. These are important for 1500 meter runner. For the initial stages of the running, I mean for the development age. Training has got 3 phases. One is called grassroots level, that is the 14-15 years, and 16 to 17 is the development age, youth athletes, youth section, and thereafter elite section. So a training should consist minimum of 5 years, then the maturity of the athlete comes in. So there are 3 zone model, the 5 intensities, instead of that they are taking 1, 4, and 5. Heart rate prescription has been average person. No need to work with heart rate. If you don't have a watch, you no need to watch. Take out the watch. You just keep a concept of running. By 30 minutes, you just ask him to run. Whatever time they will go for the 30 minutes, whatever distance they will go, you can understand what is the pace required. I mean to say, if you don't have the watch monitoring your heart rate, what you have to do? Somebody is minding. हमारा athlete का पास इतना costly watch नहीं है. How to run it? The run is, the basic idea is asking to run 30 minutes on a ground where is a 400 meters marking or 300 meters marking is there. How much distance is covering 30 minutes? That will be the pace of your marathon. Any higher depth, that will be fixed for your fixing of 5 intensities. That way you can fix up your 5 intensity. When you get 30 minutes conception all out running, then you can adjust what is the slow pace, what will be the moderate, little faster than slow, then what is the marathon pace, that 30 minutes running pace, that will be the marathon pace, and then you go on the faster aerobic session and more faster about the event you are going for. Maybe you are 800, you are 800, 1500, 5000, whatever you are. So I already mentioned intensity not the same as effort. There are 2 things, effort and intensity is different. So when you ask a run to in this place, he should run in the. One can work out in zone 2 and 3. I mentioned if you go for the longer duration of marathon pace, it will be a hard workout. And if you go for the short distance with that marathon pace, it will be easy workout. So both the time intensity is same, but you can make a hard effort in zone 2 and 3 also. You can go with the hard effort. Next, please. Among athletes, now you are making a schedule. You are shaping up to a schedule. You have already elaborated about the various paces, easy pace, moderate pace, marathon pace, anaerobic threshold pace, then rest pace, all these things has been developed. Now what to do, which pace, how much? Suppose there are 7 days week, how many sessions of this, how many sessions of that? So all level, all runners, all scientists, all best coaches, they have came to a conclusion that 80% of the zone should be 1 and 2. So it is not the specific training, it is the basic endurance development where you can run with a long running, economy of running, or aerobic level development is the base. So foundation depend. If you are 800-meter runner, your foundation will be different because when you make up a building of 1-story building, your base will be different. If you make up a multi-storage of 7-stair or 8-stair, your basement will be different. So as your runners are develop the base like this. So suppose a 14 years boy, so it is like a 1-story building. So you can go a mileage of 20 kilometers maximum for the week or 10 days. So that is the concept you have to go with. And 80% of the zone should be 1 and 2. That is important. Suppose Tuesday is given zone 1, Wednesday zone 2, again Friday, Saturday. So at least 6 session के अंदर आपको 80%. That means more than 3.5 session should be even 4 sessions should be with the zone 1 and 2. And zone 1 and 2 ratio is 3:1. 3 zone 1, then 1 will be zone 2, moderate running. So this 80% of the total workout in the training, even in the competition phase last month, there should be 60 to 80% should be continuous running because this will develop your this capacity of running more. Large amount of easy training should be there. Easy running should be there. That zone 1 I have mentioned. Zone 2 and 3 hard workout per week, 20% in the zone 3 and 4. Only 20% zone will be in the 3 and 5. 20% means if it is a 10 session, 20% means how much it is? It will be how much? 20% of 10? 2. Only 2 session will be with the hard in the zone 3. Actually, Monday and Thursday is the best day. You go for the zone 2. Zone 3 and zone 4 and 5, that is the more specific, and 3 also sometimes gives. If you go 3 intensity, up 5 ka instead of 5 intensity, if you go for the 3 intensity, then zone 3 and 5 is little less. Zone 3 is less. Zone 4 and 5 will be important. That will be only 20%. As a whole, I mean to say that a lot of easy running and very few should be extreme hard running. This is the truth of success. Every top class coaches, they do it. But you know, easy running doesn't mean that in the morning you are running 5 minutes, 30 minutes per kilometer. That easy running is not a conceptual running. That is not a running that is not to be used. So your athlete is running slow continuous run. They are running 5 minutes, 30 seconds per kilometer and going for the kilometer 5, 10, 15. That will not be useful because that is a easy running. That is not actually zone 1. Zone 1 is consists of when your pulse rate should be 120 to 140, 150, 45, 50, like that. So that pulse rate is a good indicator for that. This is, I'm talking the mature athlete. You don't think that your athlete may be very good in class 4 or 5 and he is endurance athlete. Don't map it. I am talking about the mature athlete who had crossover 3 to 5 years of training. So for them, for training of 3 to 5 years, they have already undergone many slow sessions so that they have developed the athletic fitness of long or middle distance running. That much of maturity he should run, then only incorporate all intensity running. Next slide, please. Quality workout, zone 3, 4 and 5 is a variation, lot of variation you have to keep up and down. timing, changing, and all these are to be developed. Suppose sometime giving in 2 kilometers repetition, sometimes matching into 1 kilometer, sometime into 3 kilometer, but intensity is same. When you're going for the 1 kilometer, same intensity, you are giving number of repetition 10. When you go for 2 kilometers, your number of repetition gives 5. When you go for 3 kilometer, number of repetition 3. So that way repetition and distance is matching up. But total volume is 10 to 12 kilometers and intensity is same. So that variation you have to give so that they cannot group the same speed. Sometimes faster for the smaller, slower. No, intensity is same. So that is the concept. Inter-athlete differences. Always there are 10 athletes doesn't mean the same workout should be given. So you make your group. If you have 10 athletes and different capacity level, some of they are the state champion, some of the national rankers, and some of them the beginners, 2 years old. Some of them are girls with less maturity. So make it in group. You give them 3 groups. You should have 3 stopwatches. एक stopwatch में आप शुरू कर दीजिए, start the running and ask the second party to start. Your color is matching with their name. Some with the stopwatch with the yellow button, that is for the first group. Stopwatch with the black button, it is for the group number 2. Stopwatch little old, it is group number 3. But individualized training is very important. So put your time on athlete. Definitely athlete will return with your appreciation that they have done well in their levels. So this is most important. Next, please. So coming to the physiological side, what is the background of all running? That is the most important. You can see the texture, a beautiful diagram of mitochondria, which is called the powerhouse of your body. Mitochondria is such kind of particle in the cell. What is that? Actually, that absorbs the oxygens and transfers with the food resources, ATP, and manages the energy. So it is the generation of energy comes out from the mitochondria. So lot of mitochondria means a lot of energy is coming. Less mitochondria means less energy comes. ATP, you know, ATP is the smallest unit of your carbohydrate, whatever you take. Carbohydrate is the resources for energy. So whatever food you are taking, that is transferred into ATP, phosphagen store in your body. So that actually preserves in the mitochondria. And when oxygen comes with the blood cells, the tiny blood vessels, we call it what do you call the small tiny blood vessels, not coming, that capillaries, yes. The capillaries actually transport the blood flows to the and oxygen to the powerhouse, and their ATP storage as there that generates that the levels. Physiologists will explain it better, but we tell it in a raw sense that this is how this mitochondria works. The mitochondria actually development is very important. Number and size of mitochondria is developed by the intensity 1 workout. So why the slow running is important? Why the foolish athlete is they breaks the intensity and run fast? What is the bad effect to them? Because more number of what is the time? More number of that mitochondria means your efficiency will be more. So generate more number of mitochondria, that slow level of running. And second is effect of the functioning of that mitochondria. When you run with the intensity 4 and 5 or even 3 with the longer distance. So when you run on that intensity 4 and 5, that actually give the efficiency of the mitochondria. Only number of sons in a family will not work. All sons of the family must work fast, so that total earning of the family will be increased. So this is important, more number of mitochondria by slow running, stage 1, intensity 1 and 2, and sometimes 3. And 4 and 5 will develop the capacity of work, that efficiency of the work. So in the seasons, we give more repetitive workout that with intensity that actually exercising those mitochondria into reality. That is the most important. So capillarism is also important. By zone 1 में हम लोग को capillaries increase करते हैं, so that actually transport the blood with oxygen to the working muscles. That is also important, capillaries. So zone 1 and 2 develops mitochondria's number, and that capillaries, number of tiny blood vessels actually inside the body. Rakta jalika bolte hain. So high intensity better running in the mitochondria improve VO2 max. VO2 max is that capacity of the absorption of oxygen into the working muscles. We call it is the maximum oxygen uptake capacity, VO2 max. It is the ultimate for middle and long distance running. So we are actually never win by slow running. We'll be winning when your VO2 max level will be higher. When VO2 max level will be higher, when there is a more capacity of oxygen, when there is a more number of mitochondria, working capacity of the mitochondria. So that will be using more useful by use of more mitochondria and their efficiency. Next slide, please. And there's their endurance performance. VO2 max is one of the capacity, maximum oxygen uptake capacity. Oxygen intake that you breathe into alveolar it takes, and alveolars that oxyhemoglobin complex is taken by the blood. It flows through heart toward the body. It is called the transportation system, and thereafter it's been absorbed by the muscles. We call it the oxygen uptake capacity. So three phases of this blood you are flowing in the body, and energy is being released by the help of oxygen. Running economy is that very important amount of oxygen you can utilize. So when your running intensity is increasing, at level comes that oxygen uses started decreasing, and usage started at point comes utilization of oxygen will be very less, and that stage we call it is the threshold point. It is the border point from aerobic to anaerobic, and that border point has to be pushed up by training. That point is called anaerobic threshold point. By slow running and moderate running, and you are developing that stage of oxygen transportation system. And one stage will come that the anaerobic threshold is pushed up to the 85% of your VO2 max. So when you go for the anaerobic threshold, you can work 85% with the aerobic zone and very less with the anaerobic zone, then you are a very successful person, because your athlete reached to that capacity, which actually the dream capacity, 85% of the maximum uptake capacity. That is ultimate things. Few words may find you difficulty. Just note down. There are many guides in your university, your local place, even in Google. You can search it and you can see what is that. So that matches your this lecture with that idea. Next, please. So this is a capillaries. This is the blood vessels. I'm talking about easy, moderate running, marathon pace, threshold pace, interval running, and repetition running. These are the 5 methods. Next, I've mentioned already. Easy, moderate running as a very popularly blood oxygen to cellular. What is easy and moderate pace running? I mentioned earlier. It promotes supply of blood and oxygen to the cellular level, capillarism, desirable cell changes. So this type of running is also very important. Intensity is 60 to 80% of the VO2 max. So maximum speed capacity you are having, you calculate by 60% slower, by 40% slower or 20% slower, that zone will be definitely. In the first slide, I have given that pace. That includes warm-ups, cool-down, recovery runs, and all will be including in this. I was talking about the person running 30 minutes per kilometer. That is a useless running. That is useful only warm-up and cool-down. But that type of slow running has no effect with the development of endurance capacity. So if you run very slow, your heart rate is 90, 110, that is useless, no use. Never think that is I am doing some exercise. When you exercise means it will definitely punch your muscles. It will be knocking your muscular system. So that is the effect of running. You should get at least 120 to 145 pace is the minimum pace they should have. So they should run for 30 per minute per kilometer, 4 minutes, 30 minutes per kilometer, or little higher. Next, please. Now, marathon running, I have already discussed. The VO2 max develops, and 75 to 84% in the first slides it has given. Next, please. The slides are there with you. You can see it and you can read this. Anaerobic threshold. I have mentioned that when you're distance running, you start burst. After the start burst, there is a steady state running. What is steady state running? What they are running near to their maximum pace, but in the aerobic state. They are running at such a speed, they are running in aerobic pace. Aerobic pace has got big benefit because they are utilizing the oxygen. That has no negative element. But when you're running that speed with a big effort, big trouble, that means your aerobic level is not developed. So you are reaching to the anaerobic threshold little earlier than the person who with more aerobic capacity, more capacity to use the oxygen. When you lack that threshold point comes. Threshold means a border. Threshold means a border. So that threshold comes means you are not utilizing the oxygen. Now you are jumping to the anaerobic level. Next, please. Interval training is one of the important factors. That is, interval means develop VO2 max duration 3 to 5 minutes. Actually, interval training basic concept is that you are running just less than your maximum speed, but without much rest, incomplete recovery. The recovery heart rate is somewhere 120 to 90 to 120. That heart rate per beats per minute. So you are not recovered completely. Again, your coach is saying, go once again. You are not recovered, go. So under stress, you are developing endurance capacity. Your heart is under stress because it is not recoverable. So muscles is under stress because they have not accomplished with the carbohydrate. ATP covers up with the oxygen, and when it is broken down, ATP triphosphate broken down into diphosphate, ADP. And again, when the recovery phase with the oxygen from the outside, that ADP transfer into the ATP. This resynthesis theory is working when you recovery period. When your incomplete recovery means your ATP is not fully recovered, your muscles are tired, your heart is not recovered, and you are running in. So this is a stress training called interval training, might be named. You read it? Next, please. Repetition training is distance oriented. Suppose you are 1500 meter run, 1200 meters run, or 1400 meters running with the near to your pace. So that is very important. Repetition running. Next, please. 5% of the workout in a zone. Repetition basic period, large amount, and this is very important. Increase mileage zone important. Zone 5 is always short interval. This is about the schedule matters, and that's all. I think we must complete it before telling. Next, please. Specific period 100,000 meters. That means that zone says basic period and specific period. These two zones are important because I have mentioned 2 cycles: microcycle, mesocycle. When you make it a yearly cycles, microcycle consists of 7 days. When multiplied by 4 to 6 weeks, it will be mesocycle. When mesocycle is round up with a 6 minimum, this will be a macro cycle. Macro means yearly cycle. Yearly cycle is divided into basic and specific period. That details have been given here. Zone 5, zone 3, whatever is being done. And if you want to make the schedule, just take the slide and try to make it. If any question comes, you can definitely discuss with me. Organizer can share my email to them. Next, please. And rest period means last week of training. We call it is the tapering period. Last week's combi training 4 and 5 pace, and we could reduce last in the normal exam and normal athletic competition. There is a difference is big. In normal study of your academic life, what happens? The examination comes, your study rate is more because capacity of brain is higher. But your physical conditioning aspects, when your competition comes, training should be reduced. So as the competition comes, your training should be reduced so that your body recovers with maximum amount of resources. Your ATP-CP sources, your energy sources will be full of tank. जैसे बाड़ी में शादी है, yes, marriage is in your house, but water tank is full because they will be used by whole body, whole families. So that is the concept. Reduce length of workout, everything is reduced, but mental preparation is most important. The psychology plays big role here because your preparation may be big, you're psychologically weak, you will not get trained. So save energy is the ultimate slogan for last stage of 10 days training. Next, please. I think before complete, I'll just take 1 minute about lactic acid. In the slide, I have there someone list. The lactic acid, one of the component. I was telling at the anaerobic level, there is a big problem. You know, anaerobic level, there is a, you are not able to use your oxygen because your work pace is more and oxygen supply is insufficient. And that time your body starts producing lactic acid. Actually, lactic acid is the byproduct of anaerobic activity, any activity, and that lactic acid is initially been absorbed by the body as an energy resources. Lactic acid being produced as a byproduct of anaerobic, but that initially being used as energy resources by the body. So lactic acid production is one phenomena. This is very important, but lactic acid production is not important, but not adverse. I mean, that's not a bad elements because lactic acid will be produced and that will be used as energy. Ultimately, this is okay. But accumulation of lactic acid is important. Accumulation means your rate of energy utilization and rate of lactic acid production is different. Production is more, utilization is less, and that time body become very uncomfortable stage. Suppose one example I'm giving: you are wanted to catch a running bus because you are late in the school. Your bus is increasing speed, you are running increasing speed. One time bus goes, your body is becoming slow. Another example: immature 400-meter runner in the school class 5-6 runners. If you ask them to run 400 meters, they will start very fast. And we are clapping. After some time, they will be struggling. After some time, they move back. And a stage will come, they will stop it. So what happened actually? Body start accumulation of your lactic acid, and that lactic acid does not promote to give your energy resources work with the blood flows because viscosity, I mean the density of the blood become heavy with the lactic acid. So it is goes. So with the training, that lactic acid level pushed up. We also call it as the lactic threshold, as anaerobic threshold is the point. So lactic acid threshold means more your training that your accumulation become tolerable and you are tolerating with the more concentration of the lactic acid. This is about to say of the lactic acid. This is very good concept. You should have that concept. What is lactic acid? How it is being accumulated? What type of training should be use, because this is most common for 400 meters runner, even 800, 1500. That stage of running has to be developed. That speed of running should be developed where the lactic acid will be sensitized. That effect will definitely disturb the lactic acid concentration level, and you are working with more easy at your stage. Thank you very much for your patience sharing. I know this is a very small time and all big things I have given in a very bad manner. So you might have not comfortable. Thank you to Ujjal Dasgupta, you have done well, because in my laptop I don't know how to operate this session. I am accustomed with the Zoom session, so this sometimes betrays with me. So I didn't take risk. I rely on Mr. Ujjal. Thank you all the person from Mizoram University, Dr. Shogato, and all big persons, and also the participants for question sharing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, as I have gone through, there is no question. Only our participants are asking to share sir's slide. Definitely, we will do that one, and even sir's email address is also there. We can share to all of you, our participants. So before going to the next session, our next session is going to start. There is no break actually, so we will continue. I will invite the next speaker. Before going to the next session, let me just brief sir's focus or highlight on the what sir has said. Sir, a lot of thanks to you. Then sir has given the importance to the science of long distance running and the general training means of athletes, especially the moderate runner and long distance runner. It was my request because in the Mizoram we are doing that one. We are focusing on that one. Actually, you have to set a target and plan whenever, if you are a teacher, you are a coach, or you are setting your institute's object. So as per the infrastructure and all, I have said those points. Keeping in that one, I try to relate whatever I organize, we manage, we administered in that way. So that was the main focus point. So sir has nicely said that one. So we have to chalk out and set our target. Target means training objective, what we are going to do that one. So please chalk out your plan and target, then you set it as a macro circle, meso circle, and then micro circle as day, week, and with the year that we learn, we become to reach with that one, and we have to set the base heart rate to judge your athlete. That is very important, which sir has emphasized on that one. And training with effort and training with intensity, it means it is very important in case of running or whatever we are doing in the for the professional sports or the competitive sports. That is a good combination of intensity and volume should be there for train. And the basic thing, that is also one important thing, that is the age of the athlete who is coming to you, is either he is a beginner or is a intermediate beginner, training experience is there or not, that one. And variation of coaching, sir has also emphasized on that one. Variation of coaching including adaptation is very important. Until and unless we say it in a staircase method, load should be given. So first adaptation should be there, then the next volume will be given, introduced in the training session. And the physiology, the capillaries should be open. It is very common, we know that one, that until and unless more capillaries are open, then oxidative functioning is not up to the level. So maximum VO2 max level should be increased. So fitness goal is also important for your health and performance, and improve the quality of the event and contribute to the country. So I would like to thank Kallan sir for your very nice and very important and valuable information, as we can make fit our athlete, and we can train, we can contribute to our athlete. Thank you sir, thank you very much. Now
Thank you so much,
for,
and thank you to everyone. Thank you.
thank you sir. So now let me invite Sri Sanjay sir. So, Sri Sanjay Ghosh. He is the level 1 technical official and technical delegate, Athletic Federation of India, and he is also the vice chairman of technical committee of West Bengal Athletic Association. So uh, Sri Sanjay Ghosh, I would like to invite you. Over to Sanjay da. Hello.
Excuse me. Am I visible?
Yes sir.
My presentation is visible?
Yes sir.
Okay. Just a minute.
Okay sir.
What a fantastic lecture by my senior, my sir, Dr. Kollan Chaudhuri. I don't know what will be my performance. And before starting my discussion, I must pay my gratitude to the sports department, Mizoram University, Aizawl, for giving me a opportunity among the such a fantastic and learned seniors, and especially to Shogata Sarkar,
my brother and my friend for giving me a chance to deliver my lecture, or I should say as a discussion on technical officiating part of the uh, track and field. Before that, before start that, I must say that is not the conclusive. You cannot take it as a conclusive because we need a in-house program, practical and theoretical both. But during the pandemic situation, it's not possible. That is why we are on the air and trying to discuss on officiating is a huge, massive number of rules more than the other field. I think so. So therefore, I will try to my level best. It needs more time, but I have near about 50 minutes. So I'll discuss on it. And already I talked to Sogato regarding on which events I will discuss. Before discussing that, I must say you have to understand, you have to remember five things which without, if you leave anyone, then athletics will not be conducted. There will be no meaning of athletics. That means first, your specification and markings, second, equipment and implement, third, athletes. We need athletes. Without athletes, athletics will not be happened. And fourth, technical rules, and fifth, which is most important, that is technical officials. You must understand, you must remember each and every time whenever you are outside the stadium or inside the field, you have to remember that in and in each and every events we need these five things. Now, my topic is track events, which will be based on World Athletics Competition and Technical Rules 2020 edition. On that basis, we'll discuss. First of all, we have to know the how many track events are there, which is we are conduct on the track. That means sprint events. How many sprint events are there? 100, 200, 400. Middle distance 800, 1500. Long distance 5000 meter, 10,000 meter, and steeplechase. We also have race walking 3 kilometer, 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer, 20 kilometer, and 50 kilometer. But here I must say that when we say 3 kilometer, that means this competition will be conducted on road. If it is conducted on the track, then we'll have to say that this is 300,000 meter instead of 3 kilometer. So there's a difference between 3 kilometer race walking and 3,000 meter race walking. Apart from that, we have hurdles, 100 meter, 110 meter, 400 meter, and also we have relay race. Now, three relay race. One is 4 by 100 meter, 4 by 400 meter, and 4 by 400 meter mixed relay. But today we'll discuss on 100 meter, 200, 400 meter, and long distance around 5,000 meter and 10,000 meter. Before starting the discussion on the event, you must know that track referee must coordinate, because the coordination of track events depends on the coordination. Coordination is most important, otherwise you cannot complete a track event successfully. So we will be under this group. First of all, call room, second starter, then umpire, then timekeepers, then fielding charges, and absence. Track referee must coordinate with all the sections who are the involved directly for conducting a track event successfully. So you will have to remember and you have to coordinate this one. Next, next, you have to learn, you have to memorize this 400-meter track. This is the standard track, 400-meter track. Otherwise, you will not be able to officiate and not will become a good official. So each and every markings you have to memorize. Here, for this purpose only, 400-meter runs will be conducted from here. This is the finish line. Next, this curve section is for the 10,000-meter run. And ahead of this regular arc, this is the regular, first one was the regular arc, then it was the split arc. For the split run, when I will discuss later, when athletes are competing more than 12, then few athletes, 2/3 will run from the regular arc and 1/3 will run from there only. Next, 5,000-meter. This is the 5,000-meter card start and the regular arc, then is the split arc. 200-meter runs from here to finish line. Finish line are common for all. This is only for, I'm telling you, only for the 100-meter tournament, which is will be subject of our discussion. But every time you see, you watch this diagram, 400-meter standard track, and you will have to try to memorize each and every marking. Now, you must remember that we have two markings, lane markings. Inside and outside markings is inclusive of this track, means lane number 3, not the inside edge to outside edge. If anyone, you will see when is it start on the running or athlete on curve. If any athlete step inside this lane marking, they will be disqualified. So it is more important. So we know the length of the width of track is 1.22 meter, but 1.22 meter, how the inside edge of the left hand side to right hand side 5 centimeter line is inclusive of the 1.22 meter lane width. Next, this is most important, is the curve raised border. Mainly when long distance run or middle distance run on the curve, it has to be there. If for any reason we get it off for the field event, then we'll have to put a flag like this way. Otherwise, athlete will sort in the course. Next, track equipment. What is we must know which track equipments are needed for conducting a track event. Then starting block. This is the first one, is a starting block. First you read this one, starting block, and then you see the picture. Then you will memorize this one. This is called the starting block. Otherwise, if you don't see this starting block, if I give you this one, you will say, oh, this is the starting block. No, this is the starting block. Then lane marker box. Right hand side, this is the lane marker box. Next, start information system. This is the starting gun. This is the cards which we need for the track events. This one is the wind gauge, and last one is the lap scoring bell. Next, we need flags. This one is the break line cone. This is all hurdle. This is for the officials. And this is the digital watch. And also we need the umpire's tool, because no official will officiate this in the standing position. For the relay, we have will not discuss today relay or hurdles, but we need this one because for the long distance race we need table, we need sponge, we need water, and also we need for the track even for riding purpose pen and clipboard. Now that was the equipment. Now for track event, every athlete must wear two. One is forward, one is back. And for if we use the auto finish system, then we'll have to provide lane. This is a thigh number. It is a 9. You are watching this 9. Line means lane number line. On the basis of lane number line and thigh number, we we find out which position of the finishing position of an athlete. And this bib number you cannot fold, cut, or obscure. Only 10,000 meter, running up 10,000 meter or longer, you can perforate on the bib, bib number, but not on the number or name. Other than number or name, you can perforate it. Otherwise, you will be disqualified. If suppose if any athlete performed or participated in a track event with one number, then what will happen? Will he be disqualified? First of all, we'll have to search that he was requested or not. If an athlete was not requested by any official, then athlete will not be disqualified because of the action of an official. But if an official at call room or track, if any official suggested, request him to put another number, but if he doesn't, then he will be disqualified. Also the shoes number of spike. This is the portion of the sunrise where the constructor can provide provision will be maximum 11. An athlete may use 2, 3, 4, any number, but provision of the on shoes will be 11, maximum 11. Now I am starting the 100 meter. Every time you must watch on your smartphone or laptop anywhere how a 100-meter race run, how a 200-meter run, how a 400-meter run. Otherwise, you will not be able to officiate inside the ground. So we'll just watch a 100-meter run, how an athlete and an international meet happens.
Hello, sir. You have unmuted. You have muted, sir. Please unmute you.
এটা দিয়ে আর টাকাটা দিয়ে বোর্ড টাকাটা খুলে দিয়ে
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. We are not getting you, sir. Mukul Das, please mute your mic and video. Mukul Das. Hello. Please off your video. Please off your video. Hello, Sanjay sir. Hello.
সৌগত,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
সঞ্জয় স্যারের সাথে কথা হলো, উনি আবার ঢোকার চেষ্টা করছেন, একটু সমস্যা
আচ্ছা
হয়েছে,
আচ্ছা
একটু
ঠিক আছে
অ্যানাউন্স
ঠিক
করে
আছে
দাও।
হ্যাঁ 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 Hello, dear participants. Please hold on and don't switch off or share anything on the screen. Maybe some due to some technical error, sir is coming back. These things, something we learned due to this pandemic situation, and something is beyond our control. We cannot control everything. So let us hope sir will come. In between, I want to announce you, tomorrow we have also this two session. Professor Sanjeev Midha, expert in psychology. He is the head of Department of Physical Education, Jadavpur University, West Bengal. He will have the first session tomorrow. And Professor Ashim Kumar Bose, retired principal, postgraduate Government Institute of Physical Education, Banipur, West Bengal. These both resource persons will be with us tomorrow. We might have very good session with them.
There is no sound.
চারটে পর্যন্ত দাঁড়াও। কোথা থেকে বন্ধ হলো কি জানি। ও বাবা, দাঁড়াও দাঁড়াও দাঁড়াও, একটু বলে দাও যে এরকম কানেকশনের জন্য আছে, বুঝলে? ওকে প্রভাতকে বলো কানেকশন। হ্যাঁ দাঁড়াও,
হ্যালো,
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, দাঁড়াও ওটা কভার তো, এটাও চলে গেল।
Sorry, dear participants, due to some network issue, sir is returned back. Okay, sir, continue, sir.
Am I visible? Hello?
Yes, yes, sir. Visible.
Yes, sir.
Visible.
Just a minute. Where I was stopped?
Before this one, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Very sorry interruption. It was a 100-meter run. Participating main athlete was Usain Bolt. We'll have to, in our case, we'll have to officiate like this 100-meter. It may be international. We also competent Indians are competent to, and we also participate in international meet also. For that, we need equipment and materials. For that, you just watch this checklist. For conducting 100-meter run, we'll have to we will have starting block carrier, lane marker boxes, false start apparatus, starter stand, starter's gun, flags, cards, wind gauge operator, wind gauge record sheet, photo finish apparatus, stopwatches, referees report sheet, judges and timekeepers slip, chief timekeepers report sheet, water at finish, umpire stool, judges stand, adhesive thigh number for athletes for the purpose of photo finish. So you just see and try to understand how many equipment and materials are required for conducting a 100-meter run. So, and you must write on a diary before start of the competition, the day before the start of the competition, as the referee, and referee must collect all the equipment and materials for conducting the 100-meter run. So you know that was the tough job of a track referee. And also you see the position of track umpires on 100-meter runs. This will also you must memorize or before the conduct of the 100 meters. Anywhere else, if we have the officials, you can deploy, you can assign them like this way. Now come to the sprint event, another sprint event, 200 meter. We'll also see how a 200-meter run competition happens. Okay, why I'm showing all this? Because it will help us for preparation purpose also, how to prepare myself for conducting or officiating in a 200-meter, 100-meter race. And if I see, you will build up your confidence. So every time you should watch this type of competition, then you will become, I think you will build up your confidence before entering the field. Now we will have to see which type of equipment we needed for the 200-meter run. Starting block we need, up to 400-meter we need starting blocks, carrier, lane markers, false start apparatus, everything which is needed for the 100-meter race. Similar material and equipment we needed for 200-meter race. But for the purpose of deployment of umpires, because we need one in 400-meter standard, we use only half portion, half circle, means semicircle. That is where we will deploy the umpires half circle like this way. This is the portion or supplied by the World Athletics. If we have a minimum number of officials, then we can manage, and means referee can manage how to assign the official, how to conduct 200-meter with the minimum number of umpires. Now we'll see what is 400-meter run. Just to watch this 400-meter run and international meet moment. Now, for 400-meter, we need we do not need the wind gauge, and otherwise all the equipments and material is same. For the provision of assignment of amperes position, because we use both the semicircle, so that is why we'll have to provide amperes throughout the 400-meter standard track like this way. If I have already said, if you have less amperes, then track referee will manage the situation. Next, middle distance, forward distance. Now long distance. Long distance means 5,000 meter. For 5,000 meter, we need starter's gun, starter stand, flag, cards, lap counter board, lap, last lap bill. You know, more than about 1,500 meter, we'll have to use the lap counter board, and last lap will be confirmed by the official to the athlete by ringing bell. This is most important. Before the start of the 5,000 meter, we'll have to arrange all this equipment and this one, water and sponges, bucket, glass, tables, chairs. If required, we'll have to arrange small cones, photo finish apparatus, stopwatches, referee sheet, as like other events also. But water, sponges, buckets, glass, tables, chair, if required. If weather wants this one, then and track referee will have to arrange this also. 5,000 meter and 10,000 meter, I already said, lap scorers. We need lap scorer, lap counting, record sheet, umpires, and lap scorers too. I will discuss later on. Now, the 10,000 meter almost the same. Same we needed. That is why I am not discussing here. 5,000 meter and 10,000 meter almost the same, and the position of the umpires like this way. We will have to manage with our strength of the umpires. Next, now we have seen the how on 100 meter, 200 meter, and long 400 meter we conduct. Now we'll have to see the how to start a race. We need for start group, start referee, start coordinator, starter assistant, and refer. This is the start group we needed for any race. Now, position of the just watch the position of the starter. This is the S is called the starter for the 100 meter run, and green colored this one is the starter assistant, and R2 and R1 this is the recall starter for 100 meter run. This is start group for the 200 meter run. Green color is mentioned for the starter assistant, and this one R1 and R2 for the recall starter, and S is mentioned for the starter. 400 meter always will be behind all athlete and outside the track, and you just see the inside below the figure rounded by red color is not the actual wrong places where are starting a 400 meter track. Next, this is for the 1500 meter race, is the middle distance races, and also for the 400 meter, 10,000, 5,000 meter also. Now, you know, the starting block is required for all races up to and including 400 meter, 400, 4 by 200, 4 by 100 meter relay, and 4 by 400 meter relay for the first leg. We should know how to place a starting block. Front part will not be put it like this way and beyond the start line. backside of the starting block may be put it on the right side track, but right side athlete will not hampered for that purpose. Therefore, you will, when we provide the starting block, we'll have to consider this. Next, you know, cow star, how to the cow start and starting blocks are compulsory. How many starts are there? Two types of starts are there. One is cow start and one is starting calf start. Cow start, for cow start 4x4 up to 400-meter. Cow start and 4x400, 4x100-meter relay. We need starting block. Without starting block, cow start, you cannot start the cow start. So, and this is the what will be the command: on your mark, set, and gunfire. Next, false start. You know, in the general event, that means except combined event, there is no false start. Once false start is happened, then concerned athlete or athletes will be disqualified. But in case of combined event, all athletes will get one warning, and second time any athlete can be disqualified. If there is any false start means starting of the commencement of the athlete before gunfire. If there is any reason other than the athlete activity, then all athletes will be shown green card. Wait, what is the commencement of start? You know, the in the cow start, as mentioned, when athlete start his commencement before the start organs. Commencement means hand or leg. Leg must be supported with the starting block and hand will be on the ground. If any one hand on leg depart from the track or the starting block, then we'll assume that the athlete started his commencement of start happened. So if any athlete start his commencement, will be disqualified before the starters gun. You just see first below the photo, you'll see this is the on your marks position. Then set. After that, if any athlete raise his back and again he come to the set position, then it will not be considered a false start, but he will be shown yellow card for disciplinary action. If he do this again, then he will be disqualified. This is the false start you see before the starter's gun. Usain Bolt. You just see the Usain Bolt. This is the commencement. This is the commencement of start. When both or any one of the hand not on the track or any leg detached from the starting block, we will assume that it is the commencement of start. Is the start procedure for longer than 400 meter? Two types of, one is 800 meter is stagger start and 1500 meter, 1500, 5000 and 10,000 will also be standing start. Now the wind gauge operator, technical officials, wind gauge operator, lap scorer and umpire we also needed for conducting the track event. Next, we also require timekeeper, finish judges and track referee. I'm doing little bit faster because I'll also discuss on road events. So bear me because shortage of time. I'll have to discuss faster. This is the flea start. We'll have to know the how flea start or group start conducted. When there is more than 12 athletes competing in an event, in 5,000 meter or to 10,000 meter, then first portion, that means two-third of the total athlete will start from the regular arc, that means this one, and the remaining one-third will be from the second card. How it is conducted, you just see. First one is 10,000 meters. Is the split start, the 10,000 meter. Second portion of the athlete will have to run from the fifth lane, and first two-third will be run on the first track, and they will come to the enter the common lane after the break line. This is the way they are coming from the lane, individual lane to the common lane. Next, if it is 5,000 meter, then how will conduct this 5,000 meter? This is the 5,000 meter. In this case, we have one break line on the back straight, and here in the front straight, with home straight, we'll have break point. This is the last cone is on the break point. This is 4th and 5th lane. We have a mark of 5 centimeter, green colored mark denoted as the break point. And you just see this is the way where, and we will put the break line cone. This is the way, adjacent before the break line. Next, we'll have to know the for the treatment of the unsporting behavior. If it is considered as normal, then we'll first instance will show the full yellow card, not yellow and black havels. This is the yellow and black havels and red and black havels only used for the false start. This is for the disciplinary act we use for disciplinary action. This considered normal, then first instance will show the yellow card, second instance red card. If it is considered serious, then first time will show the red card. This is also required to know obstruction. This is mainly for the long distance races when jostling or obstruction is unintentional. The referee may decide to rehail the race or allow the affected athlete to the next round. But if any athlete, anyone found guilty, then he will be disqualified and the affected athlete will be transferred, will be nominated for the next round. For this purpose, the affected athlete, if it was not serious, then he has to complete the race. This is most important, what I said earlier. This one, the top photo, when 5,000 is record for 5,000 meter, 10,000, 8,000, 800, 1,500 meter, when we'll use the card 200 meter also, if any athlete without any provocation, without any touch, without any obstruction, touch the inside card, that means raised border or inside the ground, then he will be disqualified. Second option, if anyone pushed an athlete, that is why he stepped his foot out inside the track. Then, if then and there he come into the track, he will not be disqualified. If he get any material advantage, then he will be disqualified. For the below photo, you just see the first one athlete step on the lane line. That means it is not included in his lane. It's exclusive for me. That is why I was telling at that time what is the measurement of 1.22 meter track. So in case in the below photo, in this case 1033 will be disqualified. Now for 5,000 meter run is going on. Any athlete living voluntarily from the will be disqualified. Will be DNF, means did not finish. But if he attempt to re-enter, then he will be disqualified. And now drinking and spotting regarding 5,000 meter or 10,000 meter. If organizer put refreshment or sponging, water or sponging station, every athlete will have to take from that station only, except medical purpose. Otherwise, first instance, he will be cautioned, warned by showing yellow card, and if he takes again, do this again, he will be disqualified for the second. This is the finish. In 400 meter, you have watched this one. You will have to touch the torso. Torso means the red portion, and this one, the first picture, this is the torso. And if you see the last photo, the red portion is the torso. You will have to reach the inside edge of the photo, this one. Otherwise, you will not be. Means it will be, in this case, you see this one blue colored first one athlete is not the first. He is the first because he body inside the track, but he touched the torso before other athlete. That's why you will consider this one will be considered first or considered second. Timing, you know, you the same portion timing. Timing means just I'm telling you, if two watch, we'll have to take the official 3 watch. If 2 watch are similar, then we'll take the official time before conversion. This one, if 3 are disagreed, then middle time will take. If there is 2 time, we have taken 2 time, then the major time will be, that means in case higher time will be taken 10.73. And if we use the alternate watch, so first we'll consider first the watch number 1, then watch number 2. And if it is hand time, and the second one, that means 10.57. 7 is not 0. The second decibel is not 0. Then we'll take it plus 1. That means 10.6. 10.63 will be converted as 10.7, 10.73, because if the second decibel not fixed with the 0, then 1 will be added to the first one. That means 10.73 will be 10.8 and 10.83 will be 10.9. Lap scoring, I am just regarding the lap scoring for long distance run. We more than 1500 meter, we'll have to arrange for the lap scorer. And this is the example of 5000 meter. 5000 meter means 12 in 400 meter standard track. We'll use 12 and half lap. When he crosses the finish line, you will say the 12 laps to go, then 11 laps to go. And we'll say like this way, 4, 5, 1, 11 laps to go, 4, 5, 1, 10 laps to go. If anyone leaves the track, then you will have to write and send it to the chief judge, and chief judge will hand over to the referee. And right hand side you will see this is the master lab counter sheet. We use it for if there is any discrepancy between the lab scorers or the disputed arises with the athletes, then we'll consider the master role of the lab scoring card. Okay, now road races. Second portion, we know the road running races. How many type of road runners are there? 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer, 15, 20, half marathon, 25, 30, and marathon. Marathon means 42.195 kilometer. Now, the most popular road race is 5 kilometer and 10 kilometer. Okay, 10 kilometer means it is conducted on road, and if we mention the meter, then it will be conducted on track. And first of all, we have to know how will be the course. The course will be the made up road. Made up road is required for marathon or a road race, whatever. If traffic, because of the traffic, if we not use the road, then we can use the bicycle path. Now, we'll never use the soft ground or gas barges, but for the start and finish, we can use stadium track we can use, or we can use the small portion of the soft ground or grass barges for the finish or start purpose, but never entire course will not be on the soft grass or soft ground or grass barges. It must be on the made up road. Now, course, how we'll measure the course? We'll measure the course by calibrated bicycle and a Jones counter. This is called the Jones counter. We just you watch this one, because how to calibrate bicycle and by the Jones counter is if we need different classes, but just learning purpose, you see this one. This is called the Jones counter. For items required for the measure of the course, we need, this is needed for the measuring of the course. And now this is the shortest possible. We need the shortest possible route. This one is the cyclist is the.
Hello, Sanjay da. Please again scene.
Which one? This one?
Screen share করতে হবে again.
Oh, কেন?
কেউ স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করে দিয়েছে।
Sir, someone presenting the screen, ask him to stop.
No. Please do not share the screen with any of you.
Time is short, so please.
My dear participants, as repeatedly we have requested you, please don't share your screen. Okay, please have the knowledge with our eminent personalities we are going through. We should not break this one. Let us continue, because
sir, now again we can share
control.
the screen, sir. Then only we can able to listen.
Yes.
Again, you should share the screen, sir. Then only able to.
Yes. I'm just trying to share my. Just a minute.
Thank you.
Am I visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
But the slide I could not see. Only the presentation it's showing.
Now?
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now visible. Now visible.
Okay. So for measuring purpose, we need this type of items needed. Next, this one, the cyclist. This is a cyclist. We need the cycle. I already shown the bicycle. This is the measurer who is measuring the course. Next, this is the procedure. I'm telling you this one. This is the cycle. You just see the first one, because when we measure the course, we leave the 30 centimeter from the corner of the road. As we know that if there is any car, then in track we leave the 30 centimeter, and if there is no car, we take the 20 centimeter. In this case also, just see the how a measurer measuring a race course. This is also the purpose of the actually I have to explain this one, but due to time I am not explaining. This is the course. It is acceptable. I already said it is acceptable of math or small verses for the finish or start purpose. Otherwise, we'll have to conduct the course or measure the course on the made up road. Now, this is the shortest possible route. The cyclist was doing this one, because if we start, suppose in this case, red mark is the shortest possible route. You will have to, you will have the knowledge that the athlete, how an athlete will run. If we measure the course on the middle portion of the road, an athlete run on the red mark line, then it will be shortened. That is why this is called the shortest possible route. And this is the Jones counter, and below the measurer is measuring the course. This way, this is the certified of approved World Athletic approved course measurer. He is also the prevent the course. Why short course prevention factor we use? Suppose we have 10 kilometer race. After the race, if someone challenge any athlete or any on behalf of the athlete and found that the course is not the 10 kilometer, then what would happen? We'll have to conduct the course again. That is why we use the short course prevention factor. That means 0.1%. 1 kilometer, 1 meter. 10 kilometer never be shorter than 10. If it is 10 kilometer, never be shorter than 10 kilometer. But maximum 1 meter per kilometer is allowed. Therefore, we use the short course prevention factor. Now, while we'll measure the course, we'll have to find out and write on our sheet or anywhere on our book that where will be the cone, this one, which is non-permanent equipment. And while the measurer or his assistant will complete the course, then on that portion only we'll use the non-permanent equipment. Anywhere we will not be allowed to provide this one non-permanent equipment. Measurer will find out and he will finalize while will be the cone, while will be the permanent equipment, while will be the barriers, barricades, cone. So we'll have to consider this one during the measurement of the course. Now, we'll have to provide the distance in kilometer on road shall be displayed on all athletes. This one, 21K U-turn, you will have to provide this one distance kilometer board, and before start of the after completion of the measurement, you will have to make this one, this right hand side, was a map of the total course. Then start. After measurement and before measurement, we will start the road race. How? Command will be the on your marks. And if there is huge number of athletes, then we can use the time for 5 minutes, 3 minutes alarming, and 1 minute warning before the start of the race should be given. Just see the below one. This is called the 3 minutes alert. Before 3 minutes, we'll have to warn all the athletes that 3 minutes remaining to start the event. If there is huge number of athletes, then likewise 2 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes. And after these measurements, we'll get a certificate. And a certificate is valid for 5 years. After 5 years, we'll have to measure again. Every year, we'll not measure the course. Once we measured and finalized, then we will get a certificate, and it will be validated for the 5 years. Next 5 years. After that, we'll have to get certificate or measure the course again. Safety purpose. We, as you know, is a popular game. Crowd will be more than the track events, so we'll have to put the barrier for the safety purpose of the athlete and officials. Drinking and sponging. Water shall be available start and finish. We'll have to provide water start and finish, and approximately 5 kilometers. It's not rigid. It depends on the race condition of the athletes. You can provide after 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, whatever. But within approximately 5 kilometers, we'll have to provide water and sponges. And longer than 4 and 10 kilometers, if we conduct a road race over the 15 kilometer, 20 kilometer marathon, we'll have to provide refreshment beside the water and sponges. If mist station we also arrange, if weather condition wants, we just see the picture, is called the mist station. It's not the mandatory. If required, then course measurer or the technical delegate of the event or the technical organizing committee may provide the mist station. This is the refreshment will normally be provided by the organizer, but athlete can use his own refreshment, and this is for if athlete use his own refreshment, he has to mention in which refreshment station his refreshment will be available, and his official his country or club anywhere official may stand there. Next, any athlete can carry water or refreshment with him, but he must take it from the official station, refreshment or water or sponge. This is also important for receiving or pass on of another athlete water, sponges or refreshment. An athlete can pass one water bottle or sponge or refreshment to another athlete, but it cannot be again and again. Repetition is not allowed. If it is repetition, if there is any repetition, first time a concerned athlete will be warned, and second time will be disqualified. Otherwise, 1 or 2 times it's okay, allowed. This is the blue. You just see what's the blue line. This is the blue line which is needed for the athlete to know the course. If it is not possible, if it is expensive, then you will have to put signage. But this is required for the athlete because he doesn't know the actual course of the race. So this blue line or any type of line which is different from the other line on the road will allow him or to run on the course. This is all the same. This is the transponder. If we use the transponder system, then this is the just what this is type of transponder. You may use on the shoes or if now what drinking and sponging and refreshment station. You just see then watch you may an athlete can take his own hand water sponges or refreshment or official can put the water or sponges or refreshment to the athlete but he will not enter the course. Now 2 or 3 photos I will share you. This is the call room. We need the call room and adjacent to the call room we need the changing area and we'll have to make a path between the call room and the start. Otherwise, athlete will move here and there. Will not be able to find out who athletes are starting from the start because the shortening of the course is the major problem for conduction of a road race. Therefore, you will have to look after on it. Call room to work with starting position will have to provide barrier so that no athlete come out from that call room to the other side of the course. Next, we'll have to provide the clear cut starting line. You know, the starting line in track 5 centimeter, but starting line of road race or finish line we may be is a 30 centimeter. But we'll have to provide the clear cut start and finish line. Next, for the road races, is most important medical team. We may use we must use 1 or 2, if it is possible, more than that, ambulance or the movable. This one right side photo is the movable or cyclist on the movable medical station.
Hello, sir. We are not getting you. I think again there is some problem.
So Gautam,
Huh?
Sanjay sir
Huh?
has gone out of link due to network problem. Wait a moment.
তো কি করব? স্যার কি আর জয়েন
We are
করতে
unable
পারবে?
to hear, sir.
স্যার কি জয়েন করতে পারবে আর?
See what happened. Some connection error is there, so we
Yeah,
are
due to
unable
some
to
connection.
hear anything.
Just wait. We are trying to contact with sir. Sir is
Okay, it's
out
all
of
right.
the
It's all right. We are
network.
waiting.
Yeah.
Okay,
That is
we
why.
should be in the class only.
All,
Okay.
yeah. Almost it is finished. Sir was
Okay,
going
no
to that one
problem.
and the medical. Just we are trying.
Okay, it's all right. It's all right.
Uh,
So
Hello,
Gautam,
Ujjwal da? Yes.
so Sanjay sir class শেষ। Okay.
Okay.
Conclusion চলে।
Okay.
So any more speakers are there who will take the
Okay.
class?
Let me tell you.
Okay.
Okay, again, good afternoon, everybody. So we have the very good session in the first time, and the second session was there was a little bit of connectivity problem. Again, sir is having some connectivity problem, and sir has gone to the last point, that was the medical equipment relating. So what I get, and let me gist and on that point of this officiating, when I chalk out that plan, as I told you everybody that my focus was on the main the middle distance running and that training that already we got something. And in case of officiating, as we all know that officiating in athletics is huge one within one class. It may not be possible, but from this point of view of the singing bird of northeast, we say that that is the Mizoram. Okay, so from the need of Mizoram, I was trying to plan that one, our this workshop, and I think Sir has nicely said what I have asked him to highlight that those points. So he was on the last slide, that is on the medical equipment. So what Sir was saying to highlight that one is responsibility of a good official is to check all the equipment. He started from the equipment, as I get that one. The equipment is the most important thing. The officiating doesn't mean only to go to and sit on the chair and to give the decision, your decision or my decision, to the athlete or to judge that one. It is something in the broader sense, that is we have to check all the equipment prior to settle on that pit or to the starting point of any running event. That is the main point he highlighted. And then be careful at the first one, have to someone who is going to judge the things, the arena and the equipment, all those things. If you are chief judge on that course of event, then you have to talk with your team perfectly for the perfect teamwork of that one. So
because we know that officiating is very tough, Judge, and to whom I am emphasizing, that is the supply line. Those teachers or officials we are working in the school level or in the district level or zonal level or even in the state level also. Then if we are perfect, the athlete don't have any grievance to the judge, then they will get these athletics as their own. They will cope up with their everything, cope up with this load and all, and they will be fit for the nation and with their perfect performance. So it is a very tough job, when you are looking into the performance, or you are judging that one, and to observe and to take a decision. So you have to be very perfect. That I think sir wanted to highlight that one. Anyway, I have this announcement of tomorrow's, about our tomorrow speaker. Anyway, I give my heartfelt thank to sir Sanjay Ghosh. He's nicely have elaborated all those things what we wanted to have. Now, the about the tomorrow we have two renowned speaker, Dr. Oshim Kumar Bose and Professor Sanjeev Midha. Professor Sanjeev Midha is the head of the department of Jadavpur University, head of the department of physical education, Jadavpur University. And Dr. Oshim Kumar Bose is the retired principal. Professor Oshim Kumar Bose is the retired principal from Government Institute of Postgraduate Government Institute of Physical Education, Banipur, West Bengal. Sanjeev Midha is from a very renowned person in sports psychology, especially in athletics. He represented India also, and he gone abroad more than 10 times. And so we would have very good session tomorrow. So, and the feedback form, regarding the feedback form, we will send you through this one. And I hope if you have any questions also, you may ask in the chat box also tomorrow. Again tomorrow, around 1, not around 1.1, we will try to start our session. So from my side and on behalf of the organizing committee team and my university, I am very thankful to all of our participant. So everything what we are trying to do is for the participant. So you are the most valuable person here. Definitely our resource person, our respective patron, chief patron, everybody is respected, but the most valuable thing from my point of view is our participants. So if you get what we want to share, to culminate the knowledge regarding athletics, then it will be fruitful. So I hope tomorrow we will meet again at .1. You start your link to join in the link from 12:30 or 12:40 also. You can start tomorrow. There is no issue. So if any other issue is there, anytime, at any time, you can mail me. My mail is already given. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, any question you can ask.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you, sir, for conducting so nice session and knowledgeable session. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you. So we can end the session today. Have a nice day.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, Surda.
Hello.
Sudeep.
Sudeep.
দারুন 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 একটু টেকনিক্যাল
Thank you.
প্রবলেম না হলে মানে মাঝে মধ্যে একটু গন্ডগোল হয়েছে, মানে টেকনিক্যাল প্রবলেমের জন্য, কিন্তু
ওইটাই
দারুণ হয়েছে। উজ্জ্বলদা তো একদম দারুণ সাপোর্টিং। উজ্জ্বলদা মাঝে মধ্যে উজ্জ্বলদা বুঝতে পারছে না যে মানে প্রেজেন্টেশন হয়ে যাচ্ছে। টেকনিক্যালের জন্য না একদম ঠিকঠাক। হ্যাঁ বলো উজ্জ্বলদা, কেমন আছো?
এই চলে যাচ্ছে ভাই।
আমরা বুঝতে পারছি, আমরা তো বলতে পারছি না যে ওই জন্য প্রেজেন্টেশন হয়ে যায়, মানে স্টপ হয়ে যাচ্ছে। এই আর কি। এমনি ঠিক আছে, দারুণ হলো।
ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, কালকে আবার হবে। ঠিক আছে।
Good afternoon.
হ্যাঁ, গুড আফটারনুন তন্ময়। হ্যাঁ, হ্যালো।
হ্যাঁ বলুন, কেমন আছো সব? ঠিক আছে তো? হলো, ভালোই হলো। এটার কাজও করছি, এটা করলাম, বুঝলে, সপ্তাহে হয়ে গেল।
So tomorrow what time it will start the session? Admits are available now. Tomorrow what time it is? It will start the session.
1 p.m.
Okay. Sir, the PPT will share. You people will share in the mail or?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Sir, the presentation you are going to share with the mail or?
You are in group, WhatsApp group.
Sir, no, I got only mail. After registration, I have received only mail. I couldn't know the WhatsApp group. If you give the WhatsApp group, I will add it.
Okay. You contact Mr. Shogata Sarkar. I send
Sir.
I send total PPT in group.
Okay. You have a chat box, any meeting details, sir?
Okay. Take it.
Please, you can post the WhatsApp group contact link or number. We will add it.
What is your number? WhatsApp number,
No,
please.
if your common number, if you add, we will add it, sir.
Now you told your WhatsApp number.
Okay. Because the common platform, if you give your common ID, it is useful for us.
Okay. You told your WhatsApp number. I give you join you.